I walked out of my marriage without saying a single word. No goodbye, no argument, no tears. I just grabbed my bag, closed the door, and stepped into the street like my entire life had just been erased. I had no idea where I was going, but here's the part no one believes. Less than 10 minutes later, I was sitting inside a billionaire's limo, and that moment changed everything. People think divorce is loud, screaming, crying, chaos, but the real ending? It's silent. It's realizing the person you built your life around has already left, even though they're still standing right in front of you. That silence followed me out the door and into the unknown. I didn't know it then, but that quiet walk away from my old life was actually the first step into a life I never imagined I'd live. A life that started in the back seat of a black limousine. My marriage didn't collapse overnight. It eroded slowly. Small dismissals, unanswered conversations, promises that expired without explanation. I kept trying to fix what only one of us cared about, until one day I realized I was fighting alone. There was no dramatic fight, no slammed doors, just one sentence. I think we're done. I waited for emotion, for regret, for something, but there was nothing. That's when I understood. This was already over. I packed only what I could carry, not because I was calm, but because I was empty. I didn't want explanations. I didn't want closure. I just wanted out. So I walked away without saying a word. Outside, the world kept moving. Cars passed. People laughed. Life continued like nothing had happened. Meanwhile, I stood there thinking, how did everything fall apart so quietly? I had nowhere to go, no plan, just forward. That was my lowest point. Not broke, but broken. When you lose your future in one conversation, you start questioning your worth, your decisions, your identity. I felt invisible, and then something unreal happened. A long black limousine slowed down beside me, polished, silent, impossibly out of place. At first, I ignored it. Why would something like that stop for me? But it did. Right there, on the side of the road, the driver stepped out, opened the door, and looked straight at me. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "Sir would like to speak with you." My heart started racing. This didn't feel real. Every instinct told me to walk away. But something else, something quiet but powerful, told me to listen. I took one step forward, and everything changed. The door closed behind me. The city noise disappeared. Inside was calm. Leather seats, soft lighting, and across from me, a man who looked completely unbothered by the world. He didn't introduce himself with money or power. He just smiled and said, "You look like someone who just lost everything." That hit harder than any argument ever had. I didn't plan to talk, but I did. I told him about the divorce, the silence, the walking away. He listened, not like someone waiting to respond, but like someone who actually heard me. He told me something I'll never forget. I've learned to recognize moments when life resets people. He said my face looked like one of those moments. That's why he stopped. There was no pity, no questions that felt invasive, just respect. He offered help, not as charity, but as opportunity, a place to breathe, to think, to reset. Every warning voice in my head screamed, "This is crazy." But another voice said, "You've already survived worse." For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. I realized something powerful. Staying where I was had already cost me everything. So what was I really risking now? I said yes, not to him, but to myself. That limo ride wasn't about luxury. It was about direction, about momentum, about realizing that endings don't always mean failure. Sometimes they mean redirection. No, my life didn't magically become perfect, but it became mine again. Confidence returned, purpose followed. And for the first time, I wasn't shrinking to survive. If you're watching this feeling stuck, abandoned, or broken, understand this: your lowest moment is not your final chapter. It might just be the scene right before everything changes. I left my marriage with nothing but silence, but life answered me in a way I never expected. Sometimes you don't walk away to escape. You walk away to arrive exactly where you're meant to be.